Hi, my name is Dawn, and I'm here at Melting Heart Boutique with the owner, Rosie Swenson. We are going to be talking to you today about the purpose of Melting Heart and also a new channel that's going to follow in addition to this video. And so Rosie, please introduce yourself to us.
Hi there, well I'm Rosie and I am the owner of Melting Heart Boutique. And I say one of the owners because I feel like all my spiritual partners are also own a space here, and so does the community. So I should rephrase that. I feel like I'm one of the owners.
Great. And how long has Melting Heart Boutique been open?
Melting Heart Boutique was founded in May of this year, 2014. It started off as a different boutique, and it was gifted to me in May by my daughter.
Well, one of the things that I've always been curious about that you haven't really told me yet is what is Melting Heart to you? Where did this idea come from that became the name of this store?
As I said, it was my daughter's boutique before, and just before she gifted it to me, we both kind of sat together and went over some names. And I've always noticed hearts everywhere, in the trees, in the clouds, dents on the floor. Everything looks like hearts to me. And sometimes a seed will be opened up and it'll just be in the shape of a heart. And I've always taken pictures of it. So when she said Melting Heart and as a suggestion, I was all for it. So it just seemed perfect.
That's great. And I have some additional questions about this that I'd like to ask you. But I'd like to talk about what you have here in the store. And so if you want to introduce some of the treasures people can find, some of the gifts, some of the services.
Sure. We have Victorian items. We have books. We have art, crafts from local people. We have metaphysical items. We have classes such as chakra dance, belly dance. We have intuitives, psychics, mediums, tarot readers, angel readers. We have a seashell reader. Yes. We do Reiki, hypnosis, and birth charts, amongst other things. So we're going to be having a rituals of creativity. So that's an art class. We have white magic classes. We have energy cleansing classes. And we're going to be having a chart or a destiny cards class as well. So it's so vast, I don't even know if I forgot something. So I apologize if I did.
Clothing and jewelry.
Yes, that.
And when it comes to the store itself, what items do you feel like you carry here in the store that grab people's attention first? Like if fresh eyes come into Melting Heart, what do you see them being drawn to?
I think it's the metaphysical stuff. I always say that my storefront is just a front to what really goes on deep inside our doors, the healing that happens. And so I think people think they're coming in to get an item, but they're really drawn to heal. So it's interesting that you would ask that question because it's really random. The store is kind of eclectic, and people will see some of the pictures. It's very eclectic. We have t-shirts that I designed as well. That is a Just Be line. So we have that. We have artistic shirts. So people get drawn by the mural and the artsy stuff, and sometimes by the clothes. So it's really random why people come in here. But I know once they come in, they experience the store.
Sure.
It's not so much that they're buying something. They're really taking with them an experience.
Sure. And what are some of the things people have said as they've left the store? Like, what are some of the maybe surprises or the the treasures that they've actually found. You know, I happened to be here when a girl was explaining that she found a necklace that they felt, you know, had a connection to their grandmother. And
Yes.
so it became this very sacred totem item that they had to leave with it.
Right.
And so what other kind of stories do you have?
The really story that stands out the most is this lady that came in, and as soon as she walked in, her mouth dropped, and she couldn't close her mouth. She was just like going around, and it's like, oh my gosh, this store, this is so amazing. I don't want to leave here. She even said, it's evil because I'm going to spend all my money here. So, that was probably the most memorable, but we do have lots of people that come in and they're drawn to the art that we have here. They're drawn to just the one-of-a-kind pieces, because since we have a lot of artists that we feature here, and the artists always create one-of-a-kind pieces, including myself. I have a line, it's called Dragonheart Designs, and I make a lot of the pieces myself.
Yes.
And so when I make something, it's always a one-of-a-kind, and I always like to add a element of, like a vintage element to it.
Mm.
So I think all of the artists have a little special thing that they add to it. So people they just love everything they see. I think that if people had the money, they would just buy the whole store.
Right, right. Well, being new to Phoenix, one thing that I really appreciate is that you bring in local artists. And so can we talk about some of those local artists? Maybe I can learn something more about what you have here in your store.
Absolutely. Well, Lalo Cota is one of the muralists in Phoenix. He's very well known for the Day of the Dead. That's not the only thing he does, but he's very well known for that. He's the one that created this beautiful mural that we have behind us, and we also carry a lot of his art. In fact, we're going to be featuring his work in November. Since he does Day of the Dead, in November the 2nd is Day of the Dead, and so we will be featuring him the first Friday of that month. We have a reception for our local artists on first Friday. And the other artists that we have here is Gwen Thomas. We have Brett Hatch. We have Amber Rivera. And I'm trying to think, I hope I didn't forget anybody. Scissor Vixen, who has these beautiful shirts that she cuts. She upcycles the rock band shirts. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely, they're back here. She's got a lot of cute little artsy items as well. And so I can't think of anyone else at the moment, but we've had a lot of artists come through. We have James Montoya, we had Edgar Fernandez. Those are the people that stand out to me the most because they were most recent. But if I'm forgetting anyone, please forgive me. It's just too much to remember.
Well, and going back to what you had said about the store being a front for the deeper work that goes on here, you had mentioned that this is an important space for community. And so I guess I'm curious to know, how would you say, how important is it to you in bringing in local artists, and how does that connect with the community?
I really feel that there is not enough exposure to the artists, the local artists, and there's a lot of talent. And so I wanted to combine that with what we're offering here, because creativity is everything. We are all creators, and some people create with dance, some people create with, painting or writing, and it's just, art is very dear to me. When it comes to music and painting, I think, if I could paint, I would paint. So I really appreciate what goes into it. And so I think that's one of the main reasons why. And if I kind of went on and on about answering that question, I probably forgot what the question was. But just artists, they hold a very dear place in my heart.
Sure.
I am amazed at the kind of creativity that can come out of someone, the things that they can create. It's just, I'm in awe when I'm in the presence of art.
Right. And, with in terms of your awe for creation, I would say that this is your form of creation. And so can you tell us about how your purpose in life connects to Melting Heart, and what are you ultimately envisioning as your creation here?
Sure. One of the things that I was talking to someone actually earlier, and one of the things that I like to say that I want to transmit is that I want to always have people leave me in better shape than when they came to me. So if I could rephrase that, it would be I always want to make people's lives better. So if there's anything I can do to enhance or uplift another human being, I just do it. I think that's my calling, to just not necessarily fix anyone or change anyone, but just be there to support their growth.
And how are you able to do that through Melting Heart?
I'm not sure because it comes so naturally to me. What I do know is that people come in here and I've had people literally collapse on me and start crying just because I asked them how they were doing. And so I really think there's something special about this place. I'm a Reiki master, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I really feel like I'm always turned on to that. So my energy is always turned on to the Reiki, and I always, if I'm driving, if I see anything, I'm always sending Reiki out.
Sure.
And so that's how kind of when customers come in, I feel that Reiki is always just flowing out. And so I think it makes people comfortable, and it helps people heal. I've had many occasions, and there's lots of people that have witnessed it here, where people just randomly cry. I think this is a very healing place for a lot of people. I can't explain it. It's one of those phenomena.
What about maybe connecting it to the services that are hosted here in this space, and
that's
and how does that connect to Melting Heart?
Well, the services that we offer here, I just find that there is a big need for all of us to heal and to grow. And so I don't know how it happens or how to explain how each service helps people, but I do feel that we have created that space, all of us together, that space of healing. And so when we offer, for instance, the mediumship nights, new moon messages are given to each individual. They find healing in that. When we do the Reiki sessions, or we do belly dance even, is very healing. The chakra dance is also very healing. So all these things that we have put together, they're all meant to heal and uplift each and every one of us. And so I feel like that's just happening on its own. I kind of just let Melting Heart be who it's supposed to become. So I'm kind of just being guided to just say yes to all the right stuff.
Right. And one thing that we've talked about is the value statement from Melting Heart. And with what you just said, that it's almost as if you're discovering what Melting Heart really is. And one of the things that I appreciate the most is the level of permission that you give for the community to engage in this exploration with you. That it's not just Rosie the store owner, that you are connected. In your connection to the store, you're able to hold a space for individuals that are here to find something, but are also here to give something. And in that, I guess I'm curious, how has how has this experience so far impacted you as an individual?
Oh, quite a bit. Basically, trusting in that little voice that speaks to me. I always say it, they speak to me, and it's your high self, your higher voice. I don't know exactly what it is, but just in allowing Melting Heart to become who it's meant to become, I know that all the right people are being sent my way. Yes, and I do allow a huge level of permission to be who you are meant to become as a practitioner, and also because you're imparting that wisdom, and you're sharing this gift that has been given to you as the practitioner. And then what happens then is the people, the customers, they get to experience that. So everybody that comes here, both the service provider or the client, always leaves very happy, knowing that they had a healing session, and that they were able to tap into something very special within them. And so when I see that, it just makes me very happy.
So it's my understanding that what inspired these videos originally was the aha moment of the type of conversations that go on in Melting Heart. And that's led to the series that's going to be coming out. What are some of the conversations that really have melted your heart, that have really touched you, that you want to get out to others and share?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. One in particular that I can remember is a lady that came in, and I'm not going to mention her name, but we will have a video with that interview. And she came in, and she opened up about something, a life-changing experience that she had. She was almost murdered by her husband, and in that tragedy, she reset her life. And when she was telling me about breathing again after being on the floor and just wanting to survive, she also heard a voice that said, you know, you have a purpose. I don't remember exactly how it went, but when she was telling me about that experience and taking that first breath again, I experienced that along with her, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this needs to be shared.
Sure.
This needs to be shared. And just over the course of maybe about a week or so, people were coming in, and I had taken a little bistro set because I wanted to have my lunch close to the counter, and I had moved it over there, and I had my lunch, and I was trying to eat, and as many times it happens, we get interruptions. Sure. And customers come in, and every customer that came in was sharing a powerful story. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just incredible. Like, people need to know that, you know, what they're coming in here to share with me. It's like, I feel like others need to know as well. And then, I don't remember if it was before or after I kept hearing this thing, like, almost like very authoritative, like, you really must do the videos, you really must do the videos. And I kept kind of arguing with that little voice, like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then it was just all of a sudden something that I had to do.
Sure.
So, and here we are now. And everything fell into place. Everyone I asked if they will allow me to interview them, everybody has agreed up until now. No one has declined. And so I think that's yet another sign that this is meant to be.
Got it. Well, I appreciate that you're creating yet another space for important information to come through and to connect, because it's my understanding and belief that as we reveal more of ourselves, it actually opens us up more to be seen. And that, you know, going in line with the metaphor of melting heart, that continues to melt those built up energies that hold us back, that keep us in fear, that keep us from the lack of connection. You know, I'm extremely enthused about everything that you're doing here at Melting Heart, and so I want to talk more about story. And again, as a new individual to Phoenix, what could I look forward to or plan on coming to that could help me build a sense of community with other like-minded individuals, where maybe I could experience a safe place to share my story and to share my process of healing?
Well, we have lots of different outlets for that. Number one, you can teach. Number two, you can come in and participate in one of the classes. We can do this kind of scenario here, and you can build any class that you want, so long as it uplifts humanity. And you can design it, organize it, and then just present it to me, and we're on. That's what you can expect. As a customer, you can expect to be supported in your growth. You can expect to come in here and we can recommend a number of services. I'm very intuitive myself, so I can kind of see what reader might fit that person, if they need a reading, or maybe they just need Reiki, or maybe they need hypnosis. So I have this knack for being able to determine what the right course of action would be for that individual. And of course that individual always knows also what they should be doing, and they just automatically know as soon as I make a recommendation whether that's for them or not. So it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we've covered pretty much everything. I don't know that there is anything else other than just stay tuned and to see where we're going with this, because I'm basically following the heart of Melting Heart.
Yes.
Not so much my own, even though at certain points my goals kind of cross together with Melting Heart, but I'm more paying attention to what Melting Heart wants to become. It's almost like it has a life of its own.
Sure.
And I'm just really open to, I'm open and saying yes to a lot. Whatever feels right is the direction that we're going.
Right.
So in many cases, I sometimes feel like maybe I don't want to go that route, but for some reason, it just works out and it goes that route. And then sometimes I question myself and I get confirmation through others that that's the way it should go. So I'm really staying open and connected to the heart of Melting Heart. It definitely has a heart of its own. And I'm just really happy to be here. Really, really extremely happy. This place brings a lot of joy to my heart. Lots of people that have been through here melt my heart. And I think that one of the things that is my favorite thing to do is kind of know who the customer is. Who are they? Like, what's the story behind there? And everybody has a story. And it's powerful when you don't see people just as a customer. They are an individual with sadness, pain, joy, and the awesome thing about it is that they're willing to share that with me. And when they leave here, they always leave uplifted. So, and that's pretty powerful for me to be able to listen to the story and be able to transmute that into something awesome.
Yes.
So.
And my takeaway from what you just said, I just want to bring it forward is, within the heart space, there's a natural rhythm. And so in your business practice and the way that you connect with your spiritual partners or the clients, there's a level of allowing that heartbeat to come through that you connect with for guidance. And the other thing is being able to see beyond just individuals coming in as customers and actually seeing them as individuals that are carrying a heart, and you care enough to look for that. And I've seen that. And so I've appreciated seeing you in action and being here, a part of this boutique, because it's very, very touching, and it is very uplifting. It's a very unique experience.
I feel that it is. Everybody says that. What a unique store. It's very eclectic. You have everything. You have something for everyone. And we truly do. I forgot to mention that one of the favorites that we have here is our love potions. They're amazing. Yes. They're made locally, and just people just love those. They come in and ask for them. We have a hex breaker. We have a hand sanitizer that is also a healer's hand spray, and that's for people that do chiropractic work, Reiki, or just are like need massage, or they shake a lot of hands, they interact with a lot of people in management or wherever, receptionists work. That's really important. And then we have the love potion and the sexual stamina and the man-to-man, woman-to-woman. We have a whole bunch of stuff in between relaxation. Those are like my favorite, and they really, really sell a lot. And so I'm really happy and pleased about that particular product.
Yes. Yeah, and I would the only thing I would offer to somebody new visiting Melting Heart Boutique is allow yourself the time to come in. Because each time I come in here, there's always something new. There's something new that catches my eye, or there is a new conversation going on. But definitely come in and just let your heart pull you through the space, and feel that tingly, joyful sensation that comes up as you see all the little treasures that this space is filled with.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay tuned.